Hi guys, it's Miss Crystal, and today we're going to talk about some books. Okay, so today's theme is going to be nonfiction. I know I'm always pushing nonfiction down people's throats, but I just feel like people don't read it enough, and there's so many like cool nonfiction things out there. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. All right, so anyway, I'm going to start with my middle grade nonfiction this time around. Okay, so that's going to be like 13 or 12 and down. All right, okay, so I've got Raise Your Voice, 12 protests that shaped America. 12 protests that shaped America. I think it's very relevant to today in our political climate, and seeing all these protests happening on the TV may make people feel like, oh, this is like the only time that this has happened. But guess what? It's not the only time this has happened. There's been protests, and protest culture has been throughout history in America. So I think that it's really cool if you go to the table of contents. And the table of contents is cool because it has each protest laid out for you. So if you want to know about the Stonewall Uprising, but you don't want to know about the Earth Day 1971, then you don't have to read that one. You can go straight to the Stonewall Uprising. So I think it's cool if you want to know about a certain protest, and you can just read that chapter and keep it moving, or you can dive in and just learn about all the protests. So I like it. I think it's easy read. It's a lot of fun. It's very informative. Okay, next thing. What breathes through its butt? So we're coming right along with science questions, funny, disgusting science questions. And I like this one because the drawings are super fun. And also because the way the book is set up is the table of contents has questions. So if you want to know where is the strongest muscle in your body, then you head to page 51. But you don't have to, if you don't want to know the answer to some of these, then you don't have to go to those chapters, you know. But on each page of the chapter, it says the question that it's going to be talking about, and then it gives you a multiple choice, A, B, C, D, and then you guess, and then at the end of the chapter, after you've learned all these cool fun facts, they tell you the answer to the question. So I think that it's a fun way to go about learning some very weird science, very, very Bill Nye of you, you know? I like it. Okay, next thing. I'm gonna talk about my YA, so that is 13 and up, okay? And this is the first one, the Suffragette Playbook. So this is another book about protests, but I think the fun thing about this book is that it outlines how people get a movement going, and it is how they like strategize and what it is that you do first and second. And like sometimes, you know, usually unrest in a society is always present, and will explode at some point. But how do you capitalize on that unrest is the question. So I think it is a cool way to detail, like, you know, how is it that people go about making these protests effective? So they have all these different instructions laid out on here. In each chapter, it says like, set a goal, you know, engage in a wider audience, be bold when you get stuck, don't always do what you're told, pay attention to how things look. So it's like giving you like little step-by-steps of like how people that led these protests and how they went about doing that. Yeah, okay. All right. My least but not least, you know, but last is BaDo Comics. It's from like an online magazine called The Nib. So The Nib prints off these comics, and they're all about LGBTQIA culture. and it's about like the community and different things that arise from that, and you'd be surprised about the variance of like subjects that are covered in this. So there is so many different artists inside of this book. There's comics that are like 1 page, and then there's other comics that are like 5 pages. There's some comics that are literally just a strip. So it's like very varying. If you don't like the artwork of one, just move on to the next one. And I think it's a good way to kind of get connected to what are some funny things, what are some serious things, what are some, you know, things that you might not have thought of that are inside of the sexuality and gender spectrum culture, and like how people feel about those things. So it was funny. I really enjoyed it, and I liked hearing from all these different artists, and it kind of gets you to a jumping off point too, because if you like a certain artist, you can look them up and see if they have any graphic novels out that you would be interested in. So, okay, that is it for me. Those are my nonfiction books. Come in here and learn something, you know?